alert, if you see either of these comments, do not respond. I swear to fucking God, if you start a flame war in my comments section, I'll use a death gun on you myself. Sword Art Online 2 is a sci-fi action series based on the light novel Sword Art Online Phantom Bullet by Reki Kawahara. The anime, however, was created by A1 Pictures, known for their work on the original Sword Art Online, as well as Magi, Anohana, and Fairy Tail. They are generally regarded for their reliable and consistent animation. But without further ado, I present the Vital 3 review of Sword Art Online 2. Phantom Bullet. Now before we start, I want to clarify something. I am very aware of the drama surrounding Sword Art Online. It's a series that some people have very extreme views about. On YouTube alone, you will see videos trashing SAO, and you'll see videos praising its cotton socks off. I don't aim to do either of these things. If you're expecting me to just shit all over it, or the opposite, you've come to the wrong place. I've read the Phantom Bullet light novels. Obviously this doesn't mean I'm entitled to claim this as a full review, but I can make general statements about further points in this series without spoiling it, of course. Sword Art Online 2 Phantom Bullet continues on from Sword Art Online Fairy Dance and takes place a year after the events of the original series. This series once again follows Kirito as he goes into a brand new MMORPG, this time a science fiction first-person shooter called Gun Gale Online, and attempts to uncover the mystery of Death Gun, a character able to kill people in real life by shooting them in the game. It's not nearly as interesting a premise as the original series. While Sword Art Online gave us a tense premise reminiscent of Dot Hack Sign, Phantom Bullet downscales this to focus on one primary cause: a guy shooting people, which he doesn't really do a lot. Although Sword Art Online abandoned the potential of its premise, it at least had it, and as the viewers we still knew that any character could genuinely die at any time, something that Fairy Dance and Phantom Bullet severely lack. But what this new series certainly doesn't lack is an interesting setting. After 24 episodes of Fantasy Worlds, it's refreshing, as odd as it sounds, to be welcomed into the gritty, apocalyptic world of Gun Gale Online, with brand new gameplay mechanics that are brought up to add complexity to this world. It's a world of competitive gaming, something that will be brought up again and again as talks of PvP, tier systems and weapon types arise. As someone who plays a lot of MMORPGs, the talks of building a character a certain way and the lower tier weapon types that nobody bothers using is something that's exciting and draws you into the world. But there's just not enough time spent in this world, and there's many scenes either in the real world or in Alfheim Online that are just there as a change of setting. Kawahara is not confident in this new world that he's built, and instead has chosen to constantly escape out of it. Why? This is a brand new game that could have been explored even further. It's a first-person shooter that involves players from all over the world with constant faction wars. They explored this in the original series, but they've abandoned this in the place of pissing about in Alfheim Online instead and seeing what Asuna thinks about it all. Asuna doesn't need consulting. She shouldn't even be in this series at all. That is what made episode 1 an absolute drag. The romance in Sword Art Online is not good by any interpretation of the word, and Kawahara's dialogue is garbage. Every scene where Asuna and Kirito exchange words is a scene I wanted to skip. Episode 2 was 75% action, and it was enjoyable. This is what Sword Art Online does best. Some of the game mechanics weren't explained nearly as well as they could have been, but if you switch your brain off, you will have a blast watching this. Pun intended. Then episode 3 came along. This is the best episode Sword Art Online in its entirety has ever had. Showing the effects of PTSD and how it can be dealt with through simulation is absolutely brilliant. Yes, some large jumps of logic here and there, but it did an excellent job of developing Sinon, or Asuna Shino, as a character, and it's something that will be brought up continuously and make for some really unique scenes. The flashback is some powerful stuff, and I really appreciated the way the anime handled it. However, the biggest issue right now is one to do with the anime. Yes, there were many complaints with the light novel and how it took ages to get into Gun Gale Online, but A1 Pictures made zero effort in trying to condense this. In fact, they've done something even worse. The Phantom Bullet light novels are the same size as the Aincrad Arcs light novels. Aincrad was 12 episodes, but for some ridiculous reason they've stretched Sword Art Online 2 into 24 episodes. At first I thought maybe they might throw the Mother Rosario arc in there, but as each episode goes on it seems more and more unlikely. Yes, the pacing in the original series was very dodgy, but the issue here is that although the light novels are around the same size, there's a lot less going on in Phantom Bullet. This is a big kick in the teeth to Sword Art Online fans, who now will have to put up with more filler, longer drawn out dialogue, and pacing even worse than that of the first two arcs. I mean, the tentacle monster. Seriously, that wasn't even in the light novel. Why did they choose that particular thing to bring back in? Phantom Bullet is not at all the best Sword Art Online arc. I'm really not sure why there's been people saying that it is. It has some of the worst pacing, a terrible ending, and whilst the world is more interesting, the plot is so uneventful that it just lives in the shadow of the first arc. If you want to know the best arc, that is without a single doubt in my mind the Alicization arc. It's a story with a stupid premise, but a genuinely intriguing plot and a brilliant and intricate fantasy world. It was Karahara's attempt to write a brand new story, but keep the Sword Art Online title as a marketing term. Okay, so during that 2-second title card, I remembered why some people think Phantom Bullet is the best arc. For the first time in Sword Art Online history, a good character is introduced. Sinon is a character with a brilliant backstory and a really unique reason for being in Gun Gale Online, as demonstrated in episode 3, although that really is all there is to her. But that's all that we really wanted. One character, just one character that we can give a shit about, can change certain scenes dramatically. A character suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder due to guns, playing a game all about guns is an interesting premise and I'm happy with what they've done with it. But it doesn't make Phantom Bullet the best arc, not by a long shot, especially in how she's been depicted visually. Even the fucking PV went for, well, this. Fucking why? For the first time, this is a female character who is not being enveloped into Kirito's harem. There is zero reason to sexualize this character. You could say that it's in contrast with her real world self, but there's so many better ways that it could have been done, and well, let's just fucking face it, it's to sell merchandise. And of course, Kirito returns. Yay, hail Jesus-kun. Being what I consider to be one of the worst characters in anime, Kirito is absolutely overpowered, somehow smarter than pretty much everyone else, and has a harem of girls who lust over him, one of which being his cousin. Here's the worst part of Sword Art Online, and it's the very definition of a Mary Sue. You can't get your cake and eat it too. You take a slice and leave it for later, or share it around. Maybe by the end you have finally finished the cake, but don't scoff the lot as soon as you see it, if that makes any sense at all. Returning in Sword Art Online 2, he is recruited by Seijiro, a member of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, to investigate their MMO, Gun Gale Online. Another big jump of logic that we won't get into, because the real issue is the fact that Kirito can go into a brand new MMORPG that he's completely unfamiliar with, and somehow be completely overpowered in this as well. This is information from what I presume will be in episode 4, but I think it's important to address. I don't care about any of the bullshit reasoning Karahara tries to throw in, because from a narrative point of view, this lack of any progression or basic narrative structure is awful. As well as this, Karahara has also decided to change Kirito's design into one of a girl in this new season. I give up. I am fed up of wondering why the hell he does this shit all the time. I would love, absolutely love, to be able to say that it's all one big joke, or he's just being whimsical, but this is the same guy who wrote a highly erotic fanfiction of his own goddamn series. And after the release of episode 4, these are announced. Yes, I know Karahara was probably not even involved in the licensing of them, but as if he didn't see this coming. How he can have so much disrespect for his creation that many people love is just disgusting. And here we go, A1 Pictures already nailed down a style in the original Sword Art Online series, and they're bringing it over to Phantom Bullet as well. Although I would have liked maybe some new death animations, the variety of new effects and bullet shots give it this variety and distinction. And of course, the action scenes are fucking fantastic. I don't think there was anyone out there who doubted this. A1 Pictures have their entire budget into making these action scenes fast-paced and intense, and it is so goddamn fun to watch. Stupid? Yes. Silly? Yep. But entertaining? Absolutely. The second half of episode 2 was a brilliant watch. Unfortunately, it was really just episode 2. Episode 1, nothing happens, quite literally, and episode 3 was just character development. I'm hoping there's more action in future episodes, and I very much doubt that there's going to be any sort of drop in quality for these scenes. Just please, A1, please stop doing shitty real-world romance sections. We don't need 20 fucking shots of Kirito holding hands. Kawahara has never been a good writer, and I am afraid Phantom Bullet is not much better than Fairy Dance, apart from the more interesting action and world building. I would not blame you for a second for wanting to continue watching for the MMO aspects and exploring the world of Gun Gale Online, but at the same time, I would not blame you for dropping it without a second thought. So the verdict for Sword Art Online 2 Phantom Bullet is stop watching. The chance of me picking it up again is somewhat unlikely. Sword Art Online 2 will not appear in the Vital 3 roundup, nor will it be appearing in the Vital update unless I end up picking it back up again, which I will be sure to mention. This does not exclude further arcs from coverage, as I still want to give them the chance they deserve. This isn't just because I've already read it and therefore don't need to watch it again, since I usually do follow adaptions. It's because I know what's happening and I know it doesn't get much better. I do strongly recommend that you watch through the Vital 3 yourself, since the third episode is absolutely fantastic, but I cannot personally recommend you watch further. That's a decision you'll have to make yourself. Maybe your experience will be different. Although, as we all know, the only difference is the amount of data. Thanks for watching.